Hello, everybody. Welcome to the weekly Nintendo News Roundup live, each and every Friday. The All-In crew breaks down the week in Nintendo news. Good to see everybody here live in the chat. Bowser's already here in the chat. Shoutouts to Bowser. What's up, Bowser? Hope everybody's
Good to
having
see
a
you.
great
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, everybody. We do this thing live on Friday nights, youtube.com/allinpodcast, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, breaking down the week. Hey, Locklith's here as well. Good to see everybody. Let's talk about some Nintendo, folks. But before we do that, Eric, you know what we have to do first?
Well, just like we break down the week in Nintendo news, we've got to break it down for our patrons.
Oh snap. The Patreon wrap. We're not the Nintendo pals. We don't have the wrap locked and loaded and ready to go. But yes, we do need to thank the amazing friends and supporters at patreon.com/allinpodcast. Shoutouts to Nintendo Poetry, who jumped into the Patreon this week at the 1-up tier. Thank you very much. Eric, on the main show that goes live tomorrow,
I
did improvise a haiku for you, Nintendo Poetry, so look forward to that. I don't know if Eric's got another one in the tank.
Look forward in air quotes.
So
it was a haiku, though. It was a haiku. I counted the syllables on my...
It was. Hey, Keegan DeWitt's here too in the live chat. What's up, Keegan DeWitt? But yes, thank you very much, Nintendo Poetry, for hopping into the 1-up tier over on Patreon. We appreciate you. But we also, every single week here on the shows, we shout out our Golden Banana and Triforce tier patrons. So let's start with our Golden Banana bunch. We got Rob Yapel, Third Strongest Mole, Sean, Shano Baggins, Ashton, Tim A, aka Neoprime33, aka Nintendo Dad number 4, Matt, Shy Guy City Murray, Phelan Ward, Bill Tucker, Marcus O'Neill, Liam D, Bowza, Gamer Jason, and Andrew Wilkins. Big shout outs to our Golden Banana tier patrons. But moving into the Triforce tier, we need to thank Josh Vaughn, the godfather of Tingle Love Tuesday, John Datfast Cummins of the Retrologic podcast, as well as the On Topic Retro podcast, the Globetrotting Jet-Setting Nintendo Hubbin' Sparky of the Nintendo Hub right here on YouTube, Adam Caparello of the Retro Groove podcast, as well as Octorock 1982 here on YouTube, Shy Guy, the other half of our Shy Guy mod squad, thank you Shy Guy, Danielina Hosa, Dan and Luma, Solo Something, and the legend himself.
The walking Nintendo Poetry, Uncle Randy.
The walking haiku, Uncle Randy. We appreciate you all. Thanks so much to everybody who supports us over there on Patreon. You get exclusive content over there, 2 exclusive podcasts a week, discounts on our merch at bit.ly/allinmerch, and all sorts of benefits. And you can get a 7-day free trial to the Golden Banana tier over there as well and get access to a lot of that content.
Yeah, we've been giving the Golden Banana and Triforce tier patrons their money's worth, especially this past few weeks with us breaking down all the nuts stuff that's been happening basically since June started. Obviously, here on the main show, we are all in a Nintendo podcast, but suffice it to say, there's been a lot of non-Nintendo stuff going on, and becoming a patron is the best way to gain access to us breaking down absolutely every single second of that.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on. But you know what, though? Even in the world of Nintendo, there's still quite a lot going on. Oh, yes. Real quick, though, before we get into it, quick little piece of housekeeping. I want to just quickly shout out that tomorrow here on the YouTube channel, we don't have a time locked in yet. Stay tuned for the time. Follow us on social media or join the Discord. Gonna be streaming a little Dokapon Kingdom Connect, Eric.
Yes, we are.
Tomorrow evening. So the current plan is we'll have Eric, we'll have me, we'll have Sam, Third Strongest Mole, and we will have John Datfast Cummins. 2 of those people were just shouted out in the patron shoutout, so that's kind of cool. But we're planning on streaming a full 4-player co-op game of Dokapon Kingdom here on the YouTube channel. So come hang out with us tomorrow night. See the insanity.
We have been promising we were going to do that leading up to the game's release. We promised we were going to do that, and lo and behold, turns out we keep our promises. So look forward to that tomorrow. I know I am.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've been feeling bad because like the publisher gave us a code and we haven't been able to get a game together. So now that we finally can make those moons align, man, I'm excited to finally get to play it.
I'm excited.
So
let's do it now that just things are slowing down ever so slightly. But yeah, there's so much stuff I can't wait to get to. But that is definitely something that we need to get off our plate. I say that like, it's a box we got to check. I'm super excited to finally to do that with you and Sam and John. It's going to be a ton of fun. So definitely stay tuned. We'll be posting on Twitter and Facebook, obviously. Tomorrow, aka Saturday, when that's going to happen. So just make sure to follow us on our socials, man. That's the best way to keep up with all things All In Podcast. So at All In Podcast on Twitter and Facebook, that's the place to be.
Yep, we got links in the description as well, so you can stay up to date on all of that stuff. But Eric, without any further ado, let's get into some news, my friend.
Yes! We got a ton of stuff to break down from Summer Game Fest, in addition to some absolutely wacky stories from this past week as well. So, let's talk about it.
Hey, listen!
All right, Navi has welcomed us in with some news, and there's plenty of it to get into this week. And one of the things that we had a lot of like showcases happening over the past week or so, and one of the things that we really wanted to make sure that we flagged and kind of highlighted here on the News Roundup Live is Wholesome Games Direct. Which
it's become one of our favorite shows of the year.
Yeah, and like they're always, a landmark show, but the thing that I have sort of noticed just, online is that people are really sleeping on this Direct. Like everybody's talking about the Xboxes and the Ubisoft Forwards and everything, but if you're
so much to talk about, but yeah.
If you are a Switch gamer, Wholesome Games Direct has got a ton of great games in there for you. And also, like, big shout outs to the team over there. Did an amazing job with the production of it, the hosting of it, the actual pacing, the way it was ran. Everything about it, like, was really well done, including, like, their website, wholesomegames.com.
Yeah.
Which has a great, like, handy list of all of the games, all the platforms for the games, like, just extraordinarily well done. You could tell that the people behind Wholesome Games are content creators, and they very clearly have content creators in mind when it comes to, it's just so well done. And it for me, like, easily the highlight of this entire, like, news week. This crazy between the Summer Game Fest and the Ubisoft Forward and the Xbox, like, Wholesome Games Direct not only had like 70 plus games in it, most of them I was like interested in. Most of them were coming to Switch, and the presentation itself was, was just extraordinarily well done. So huge shout outs to them. And I feel like people have been sleeping on it. Maybe you haven't watched it if you're out there listening or watching. I highly recommend that you do. If you are a Nintendo Switch fan, which if you're listening to this, I assume you are, you should be watching Wholesome Games. It's very good.
Yeah. The problem was, I think, for a lot of people, because Wholesome Games Direct happened directly following the Summer Game Fest kickoff.
So it was Summer Game Fest kickoff was on Thursday. And then they had that went into Day of the Devs. And
Day of the Devs. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
And then that went into
Devolver.
Yeah. And Saturday
was Wholesome, but that was also the Future Game Show, right?
Yep.
And wasn't there another one on Saturday too?
I think they did. I think it was like a 3-hour block of like Future Game Show, Wholesome Direct, and then maybe like the Future of Play Direct or something like that.
Future of Play. But all that to say that the point that I was attempting to make was, I wonder if there was any like show fatigue at the, like, by the time that show came on, if after we had seen 5, 6, 7 hours worth of shows, worth of announcements, worth of trailers at that point, if trailer fatigue, even separating a day, if trailer fatigue had been starting to run in for a lot of people. Because admittedly, I didn't watch it live, even though it happened on Saturday. I was actually sick as a dog last Saturday. Regardless of why you didn't watch it, yes, you absolutely should, because there is a ton of stuff that we are excited for. Maybe none more so than a certain game that we have been wishing to hear about.
I see what you did there.
Yes, Wishes Unlimited, the new game studio from friend of the show and phenomenal indie creator Greg Labanov fully showed off his brand new game Beastie Ball at Wholesome Games Direct. Shadow dropped a demo for it. As a matter of fact, we already have Beastie Ball content up on the All In YouTube page, youtube.com/allinpodcast. But yeah, it turns out, and there was much rejoicing. I've already become a backer. The Kickstarter is currently live. I know you're already a backer, Seth, but for somebody who already has firsthand experience with this game, what can you tell the folks?
Yeah, I get into it in a lot more detail on the main show that goes live tomorrow on your podcast feed, so you can hear some more detailed thoughts on the Beastie Ball demo there. But I came away really impressed. Like you just said, Eric, you can check out my my gameplay of the demo here on the YouTube channel. But I mean, it's got all of the stuff that you've come to expect from that team. It has, great writing and characters, and Lena Raine's music is awesome already.
I heard the music already. Yeah, you were absolutely right about Lena Raine going full Pokemon with that soundtrack. Yeah, she does.
I mean, she is. It's just, it is like the sort of like elevator, one sentence pitch is just like Pokemon but volleyball, basically. Yeah. If you want to hear more thoughts, if you want to hear a better pitch for it, you can actually go back 3 years in time and listen to the first episode of All In and hear a little bit more there, because Greg did inadvertently talk about Beastie Ball all the way back then, which was funny.
The unofficial announcement of Beastie Ball back on episode 1 of All In.
3 years ago, man. It was a really cool moment for us. We talked about that a lot last week, but I also I was really impressed by like the mechanics of it, the artwork, like all the little stuff that it's doing. It's funny, like it made me laugh out loud like many times, and I can't wait. It was always going to be something where like when that team makes a game, it's like cool, like I'm going to play it.
Yeah. Of course.
But it was cool to actually get hands on it and see the proof in the pudding.
Absolutely. Cannot wait for that. Like I said, more thoughts on the main show tomorrow. But another one that we want to talk about, another person that we've had on the show talk about their game before, Little Nemo and the Guardians of Slumberland. Was showcased at the Wholesome Games Direct. Shadow dropped it. Actually, not the first demo. I honestly, not even the first demo that we have content for up on the YouTube channel. You did a Steam Next Fest demo for that, I believe, last year.
Yeah, it was like when we first talked to Dave about coming on the show.
Yeah.
He basically sent along like a alpha demo that ended up going up on Steam at the same time the Kickstarter for it went live, so that people could kind of see what they were getting into. It was very, very early. It was like a pre-alpha demo.
Yeah.
And this demo that was just released is much more like kind of, it's been probably about a year since then. So the game's much further along, obviously. And I haven't got a chance to play this demo yet. I do have it downloaded. I'm going to be playing it this weekend. I'm curious to see how far it's come along. But I know community member Spider-Shan played it on his Twitch channel, and he was really impressed. And he's also a Kickstarter backer of the game. So, yeah, it was cool to see it here.
Longtime fans of the show know that I'm a massive, Little Nemo fan child. So I can't wait for this. I was incredibly excited to have Dave Morrow come on the show to talk about it. There's also another Little Nemo game in the works as well, but I cannot wait to check this out. The visuals are great. I mean, it's a Metroidvania. It's really hard to make a bad one of those, but it just looks absolutely adorable, dreamlike as it should be. And I do like a lot of the interpretations of the characters. I like what he's doing with Flip, and I like his interpretation of Nemo himself, and it's just a game that continues to be high on our radar. Check it out, Little Nemo, Guardians of Slumberland. If you have Steam, just like Beastie Ball, they dropped a demo for that as well. Check it out.
Yeah. Want to highlight this game, Button City Soccer Days. This is made by friends of mine, Ryan Woodward, who was on Keep Nintendo Weird. He and his wife, Sean Dean, they made a game called Button City, which is very like sort of pastel, cute, like Attack of the Friday Monsters sort of inspired, game that he and his wife made. And it is Very well worth your time, very well worth playing. I think it might actually be on sale right now on Switch, the first Button City, but they're making a follow-up to that game called Button City Soccer Days, which is a follow-up, same characters, same world and everything, but they're on a soccer team. And one thing that's really cool and funny, like Ryan pitches this as basically like Button City meets like Ted Lasso. And what's great about it is Ryan and Sean Dean, they actually like made an IRL soccer team. And it was funny because like last like May or something, like not long after I first met Ryan, he started tweeting a lot about soccer, and he's like, I'm gonna put all my soccer tweets in a thread so you can like mute this thread if you don't want to see it. And I'm like, nah, dude, like it's cool. Like I like hearing about your soccer games and stuff. Little did I know it was like IRL planning for this game. So they not only created their own soccer team that they compete with and play like IRL soccer league with, but it is like modeled after Button City. Like the league is named after Button City, and it inspired the creation of this game. So really, really cool and fun little story.
We need some DLC of the IRL soccer players to come.
yeah. So it doesn't have a date, but that will come to. I'm positive that'll come to Switch. It currently is like confirmed for PC and consoles vaguely, but I mean it will come to Switch whenever that comes out. So
yeah, and it's kind of got this 3DS. Actually, kind of I thought it might be a Tunic sequel for a half a second, because you start on this kind of polygon centric little fox character, but that's the visual language of the game. Is it's kind of polygon centric 3D models, but an arcade soccer game. I'm here for it.
Yeah, and everybody should play the first Button City. It's really great and really worth your time. Everdeep Aurora is one that looked really interesting to me.
Well, Everdeep Aurora was incredibly unique, especially for Wholesome Games Direct, because it certainly doesn't really come off like a wholesome game. It's got a completely different color palette than the rest of the show. Frankly, it looks like it would have been right at home in a Devolver Direct, or maybe even if they had done like a specific Halloween-centric Direct, because, a lot of blacks, a lot of, not necessarily muted, but like darker colors. But it does look super, super interesting. It's got this, almost arcade screen style setup, very reminiscent. I'm sure it reminded you of Downwell as well, Seth. Looks super, super cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I like, again, this was a pretty like short, trailer. No date for the game. I honestly think that the reason it fits in for Wholesome Direct is just one simple thing, and that is Kitty.
Kitty.
Kitty. I think that is pretty much the qualifier there. So I'm looking forward to it, man. This is one I'll keep my eye on. I thought the art was beautiful.
Yeah, the pixel art's gorgeous. Yeah. They do such a good. The contrast of the black and the color that they use is incredibly well done. Mm-hmm. And I don't know too much about the game. I'm sure there's a reason that the game fits into Wholesome Direct. But again, just because of the color palette and just the visual style of the game, it certainly looked very unique from anything else we saw during that presentation. Yeah. And that alone, I think, made it stand out. But it definitely looks like a very, very meticulously made title. And at the very least, I can respect that. But it looks super interesting, and it's on my radar now too.
Yeah, for sure. So that's Everdeep Aurora. Wanted to flag this game Garden Buddies, which is supposed to be coming this summer. It doesn't have a date beyond summer. So, presumably it's coming out within the next few months. It is coming to Switch. And man, that is just one of the cutest things.
They're so adorable,
I've ever seen, dude. That apple is like the cutest video game character of all time. Like, my God.
So these incredibly well-realized 3D models in this small little garden, you've got these plants, essentially, these sentient plants that I guess you're going to be able to befriend. Frankly, they kind of reminded me of like Viva Pinata, but vegetables.
Yeah, it does sort of look like that. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you've got this little plot of garden, and kind of very similarly to a lot of Viva Pinata and a lot of other gardening based sims that we're seeing in the indie space. You've got all these implements that you can unlock and place in the garden, and it looks like there's even mini games that you can play with your little garden buddies. They showed off a rhythm based mini game, as one of them was just straight up rocking out on top of a rock, which was absolutely, but it just looks so adorable. They've somehow, these two guys, because we actually saw the two developers during the showcase. They appeared on screen for a second to introduce the trailer, but they have just been able to tap directly into what hits that adorable part of our brain, and absolutely just not even just like poke it, just jam it.
Yeah, it is one of the cutest games I've ever seen in my life.
Really
It is so, like, I was watching Locklith's live reaction to it on her channel. You should definitely check out Locklith's channel. She's here in the chat, and she's just crying. Like, it's so cute. It's like bringing tears to her eyes. Like, she couldn't handle it. It's yeah, it's adorable, man. I can't wait to play this. And to your point about the Viva Pinata thing, I had that same thought. And it did kind of strike me like, why has nobody made like indie Viva Pinata?
Dude,
basically.
I love Viva Pinata. I love Viva Pinata so much. I really do. But yeah, I'm sure Locklith's reaction can be summed up with the "it's so fluffy" gif.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, much. Garden Buddies coming out apparently within the next few months. So be on the lookout for that, especially if you like cute and adorable things. But going on to the next game, another kind of gardening center, Botany Manor. Yeah. Which also got a demo shadow dropped. We don't have a date for it. It's coming quote unquote soon. But admittedly, the show wasn't necessarily hurting for gardening sims, but this one does look kind of interesting. And again, they shadow dropped a demo, especially when you're going into a space like this. I think for any developer, dropping a demo is going to be a good idea, but especially when you're going into a space that is starting to become a lot more saturated, you absolutely need to let people know how your game feels.
This one we saw, I think, as part of the House of Indies last winter. And I immediately, when I saw it, I thought about my wife, because she loves like botany and gardening and stuff like this, and like those sort of plants, beyond like growing fruits and vegetables or whatever, actually caring for plants is like right up her alley. I thought about her when I saw this, and so I've had my eye on it for a little while. We don't know when it's coming out, but it looks cool. Like it's probably not like for me, but I've been kind of looking at it for my wife. And yeah, to your point, like to have a demo ready to go is a great move. So I'll probably download it and let her play it, and just
there you go.
See what's
I'd be very interested to see what Anastasia thinks of that.
Yeah. So, but I'm sure that anybody who likes taking care of plants and stuff in real life, I mean, it looks very well realized. You're in this like gorgeous like manor with beautiful like flowers, and it's probably going to really fulfill that sort of botany fantasy, especially if you're the type of person who can't keep a plant alive in real life. So do it in the virtual world.
I don't know. There was another gardening sim that really struck me, and that's Grimoire Groves that they showed off during the show as well. And currently, as of this exact second, not coming to the Nintendo Switch. However, it is on Kickstarter, and its $50,000 stretch goal is a Switch port. I'm already a backer on the game. But yeah, it looks like incredibly dreamlike and super interesting. Of all the gardening sims that they showed off, frankly, I thought that one was the most interesting. It's already fully funded. But like I said, the $50,000 stretch goal, they are currently right under 40,000. I checked it right before this recording. So as long as it gets to 50,000, which probably should, because it's still got over 3 weeks left. Yeah, that'll be one to keep on your radar for your gardening sim people. And like I said, it's on Kickstarter right now, so you can go back it and check it out for yourself. Grimoire Groves as well.
Yeah, I love the art of that one. I love
it's so beautiful.
I love the way it looks. I love the sort of like Halloween vibes it has.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. It actually, obviously, you would certainly be much more of an authority on this, but I kind of got like that that Steven Universe kind of aesthetic. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, a little bit. The sort of lighter, like kind of pastel colors a little bit.
Yeah, like the pastel rainbow kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it looks great. I love the art for it.
Yeah.
So I've got my eye on it too, for sure.
Mm-hmm. The next one we're going to touch on is Frog Song.
Yeah.
Frog Song.
Looks so good. Frog with a knife.
I mean, that's real. Let's move on to the next game, because that's really all you need to know about Frog Song at that point, right?
Pretty much it. Frog with a knife. Yeah, it's like a frog RPG, which has been in development for I believe by a solo developer, if not a solo dev, like a very small team. That dev was also, this was part of the pre-show. They did a pre-show.
A short little pre-show. Yeah, they announced a couple updates. They opened up with Mineko's Night Market.
Yeah, and then for this, this was kind of like the final thing in the pre-show, and they shadow dropped the game on PC. It is coming to Switch later, but like, I mean, this is like, I was texting, I was telling Lachlan about this. I was like, imagine putting Mineko's Night Market and shadow dropping Frog Song in the pre-show. You know, it's a heck of a pre-show. You know, so yeah, it looks great.
That wasn't the only shadow drop during the show, though. We got a couple more. Speaking of, Smushy Comes Home. That is available right now on the Nintendo Switch, with shadow drop during the Wholesome Games Direct. And this one kind of reminds me of that, was it the Mail Time? Or the...
that game Mail Time. Yeah, that game Mail Time, where you play as like a little, I think a little girl with like a mushroom hat or whatever. She's like a mail delivery courier. But this one, it got shadow dropped, and it's got even like a launch window discount. I'm like this close to just picking it up. Because
I don't blame you. It looks like a fun little, 3D action adventure. I don't know too much about it, but the trailer looked kind of nifty. And again, shadow drop is a good way to build excitement for a game. So it's out there right now if you want to check it out. Not even the demo, the actual full game.
Yeah. Lachlan was telling me she picked it up, and she's been following it for a while, and she was telling me that it's basically like a little gator game, short hike style game.
We like both of those games quite a bit. So
I mean, those are two of my favorite indie games. So it's like, cool, you have my attention. So I definitely want to give this one a shot. And again, it's on a launch window discount, so I'm like this close to just taking the leap and just picking it up and trying it myself. But yeah, Smushy Come Home, very cute little adorable mushroom person with like a leaf paraglider, and looks very, very cute.
Yeah, it does. This trailer, we've seen Vinba a couple times, but this trailer, I had just eaten when I watched Wholesome Games Direct, and it still made me hungry.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this game. The developer confirmed later on Twitter that the game's coming July 31st. And I can't wait to play this, not only because like I can't wait for the story and like it's, the familial like Indian culture and stuff, but Indian food is my favorite food. Like that is my favorite type of food. And like it's going to be torturous playing this game, wanting to eat everything that I'm cooking. I can't wait. This is one that I've had my eye on for a while, but like now that we're kind of getting closer to release and seeing this trailer, it feels real. This is another one that's got a demo available on Steam. So I've downloaded that, and I'll be checking that out soon too.
They've got it like the platform, just Steam cooking, like they've got to do something to play with that.
Yeah, man.
But it is nice. You and I played Raji an Ancient Epic a couple of years ago, and we kind of bemoaned the complete lack of the representation of Indian culture in the video games landscape. But with games like Thirsty Suitors, with Vinba, and there was even another game from Indian indie dev shown off, kind of another gardening sim adventure type game from Indian dev shown off at this. So it is nice to see that culture represented more on the world stage. Yeah,
you're starting to see that, a little bit more, and it's very cool to see. Not the only cooking game though, because we have to talk about this game real quick. This Manita's Kitchen. which, you know, is just another one of those games where you play as a T-Rex in a kitchen making pizza. Just another
Dude,
one, dime a dozen.
her name is Trexie.
Yeah, yeah.
Done. I'm playing it. I'm absolutely
Yeah.
playing it. But she's got. Have you seen Meet the Robinsons? That old 3D animation.
Yep.
It's like I've got little hands. But yeah, you play as a T-Rex chef, and there's a Triceratops with rockets on its back that shows up, and little other dinosaurs in suits and ties, and you're this, you know. I know it's a tried and true. I know it's a cliche
Just
story.
another one of those.
Yeah, but you play as a T-Rex who's trying to make her dreams of becoming a culinary celebrity true. You know, that old nugget.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look so adorable. I mean,
great.
yes, adorable and Wholesome Games Direct just kind of go hand in hand. But I certainly was not expecting to come away excited about a cooking game featuring the king of all predators from the dinosaur. But
yeah.
her name is Trexie, Seth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trexie.
Very, very cute. That one's coming October 23rd, and I'm very interested in that too. There's not too many like Cooking Mama style kind of games like that either.
No.
So it's
No.
you know, if it's done well, you know, it's already got the vibes are already right. Like you already got me just on the concept alone, frankly. So,
Yeah. A tiny sticker tail looks interesting. That was shown off at the show as well. You know, looks like this, you know, kind of 2D Paper Mario-esque kind of game. But you can walk around, and apparently you can just like pick up things in the environment, add them to your sticker book. Like everything within the environment is a sticker, essentially. Just like everything in the world of Paper Mario just is paper. But you can, you know, if you see a tree or something, you can pick it up, put it in your sticker book, and maybe put it down in a forest somewhere later on. They actually showed the character at some point they had gotten a bridge in their sticker book, presumably from somewhere else, some other river that had a bridge, but they were able to take it out of their sticker book and create a bridge over a river to actually progress through the game and solve a puzzle. So I just thought that was a really interesting mechanic. You've actually played the previous game from this developer, though.
I didn't play it. Locklith played it.
Okay,
Shouting out
okay.
Locklith a lot in this because she just this is her up and down. Like she is the cozy gamer, the wholesome gamer. Definitely, if you like games like these, definitely check out her channel.
She's just watching us to make sure that our coverage of the Wholesome Direct is up to snuff.
Is correct. Yeah. No, she and we talked about this on the Nintendo Drive extensively last week too. If you want to hear her speak, you know, authoritatively on this topic, but we basically she streamed the entire thing. She got a code from the developer and streamed like her entire playthrough of the game on her channel. So I watched a lot of that, and it's kind of like a Lonesome Village is like, it's got farming sim, life sim stuff in it, but it also is kind of like a almost 2D Zelda kind of vibe.
Okay.
She liked it. She ended up enjoying her time with it. So yeah.
Well, that's
cool
good.
to see another one from that developer.
A really interesting rhythm-based platformer, a Highland song, is coming to the Nintendo Switch, and that one looks super, super interesting. Like I said, rhythm-based platformer, which means for me, it reminds me of Harmo Night, which means I'm already there. It does really look cool, you know, kind of the Scottish music and the visuals of like kind of the hard-lined, deep color, hand-drawn aesthetic that they've got going on. I'm really interested to see what they have going. And it's a story that's not well worn, I think. You're talking about a girl who's run away from home. Right. And it seems like there's some kind of fantastical element to it. We'll have to actually play the game to see. But in this context, this isn't really a protagonist you see very often. So
yeah, it looks interesting. It definitely looks cool. It's definitely one to keep our eyes on for sure.
Yeah. And then, you know, a couple others that I hope come to the Nintendo Switch at some point. I hope Paladins comes to the Nintendo Switch. I hope Surmount comes to the Nintendo Switch. I hope Townseek comes to the Nintendo Switch. I hope Blitz Revolution comes to the Nintendo Switch. But the show actually had an OMT, didn't it, Seth?
It did, yeah. There one more thing for this was this game called Fields of Mystria. Which is coming next year, and I don't know if they've. I think it's one of those like PC and consoles, you know, vaguely. But I'm sure it's coming to the Nintendo Switch. I mean, what this essentially is is Sailor Moon Stardew Valley is basically what it is.
Kinda, yeah. That seems like a
And
pretty good way to put it. It's got a
yeah,
very anime style. The actual moment to moment gameplay is pixelated, top down. Looks very much like Stardew Valley or Harvest Moon. One of those types of games. But a lot of the character portraits and a lot of the the more close in visual aesthetic is incredibly obviously anime influenced. But I thought it was just going to be a pure gardening sim, but there is like dungeons and combat and actual adventuring going on as well. So, could be really interesting. And clearly, the Wholesome Games Direct thought that this was going to be a special game. You don't just throw anything at the end of a presentation like this to go as people's last memory of your show. So, their confidence alone makes me think that it's worth looking into at the very least.
yeah, no, I think it looks great, and I mean, I gotta say, they probably showed like around a dozen or so of the, just like in all these games, you can date people, the bachelors and bachelorettes, and they're all just gorgeous anime people, of course. So so
Well, who would want to date people that look like you or me, though? I mean,
that's
you
fair.
gotta have
Yeah.
you gotta have gorgeous anime people in there if you're gonna have
Yeah.
anything. If you're gonna have an interesting dating sim.
That's fair. So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, it looks very Stardew Valley, and that's I love Stardew Valley, and it was a good, good one more thing, a good sort of final, announcement to show that game off. And the developer has been very vocally like excited and very earnest about the game on Twitter too. So yeah, it looks cool.
But overall, go figure, a lot of games that we've got our eyes on following this direct. There were a lot of known quantities that did get showed off.
So many
shown
more
off.
too. Like there,
So
I mean,
many
this
more,
is
yeah.
really scratching the surface. Like I think there was like 72 or 76 or something games there, and
Yeah.
like again, the vast majority of them coming to Switch. If you watch the Wholesome Games Direct, and I hope you do, there will almost certainly be something in there that speaks to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really well done.
Yeah, absolutely. Cannot wait for the next one. But speaking of the next one, Seth, there are still a couple more shows that we have to go over. And, there's not too much from the Future of Play Direct, but there is one big thing that I know that you want to at least touch on.
Yeah, so the Future of Play Direct, really, I watched the whole thing, and there was some interesting looking stuff in there, but nothing really like blew me away. There was this game called In Stars and Time that looks really cool. That's coming later this year to Switch, and it looks like kind of like a Earthbound, Undertale, sort of thing.
Kind of.
Yeah, it's got that kind of aesthetic to it. That looks really interesting, but the big
looks
one,
almost
though,
like a Playdate game.
a little bit, yeah. I love the visual style of it. Definitely gonna keep my eye on that. But the big one though was, we knew coming into this that Analgesic was going to be properly revealing their next game there. Now they've been pretty like openly sharing the development of it on Twitter and stuff, but now it finally has like a name and its proper first like trailer. The name of the game is Angeline Era, and it got its first like big trailer, which was great, and the response to it has been really strong and positive. It's coming next year to PC. No Switch version announced for it thus far. If it follows the trajectory of Analgesic's other games, it'll probably hit PC first, and then like a few months later come to consoles and Switch and all the rest. So but I can't wait. I mean, Analgesic's my favorite independent developer right now, full stop.
Yeah, it's the same people behind Anodyne, same people behind Even the Ocean. But this game is kind of like not necessarily a top-down, but kind of a slanted top-down action adventure game. It does shift apparently to 2D a couple times though, but one of the big gimmicks behind the combat specifically is apparently it's very momentum based.
Yeah,
and they're lauding this bump combat thing.
Yeah, it's called bump slash combat. And there's no button combat, which is really interesting. It's not even just like one button, it's no button. You walk into the enemy in order to damage it, which is really interesting. And like in the typical Analgesic fashion, like I was watching Melos play a demo of it on Steam. Apparently you can stream to Steam. I didn't even know you could do that. But Melos was doing that on Steam the other day, and I was watching it, and like, yeah, just like the interesting ways that they have taken that simple gameplay idea and sort of twisted it. showcasing like some of the dungeons and boss fights and some of the rewards you can get, and it looks awesome. Like, I can't wait. And like, even like tonally, like it just has this kind of like PS1 RPG, flavor to it, with both the music and the art, and even the logo like looks straight out of
Yeah.
a PS1 RPG. It looks awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah. They should absolutely release a disc.
Yeah, just put it on a CD.
On a CD. One of those thick black old PlayStation 1 discs that we used to have. I would 1000% buy one of those. I have no way to play it, but I would 1000% buy it. But yes, Analgesic did properly show off their next game in the future of Play Direct, something we always knew Seth was going to be incredibly excited for. But yes, also make sure to check out that In Stars in Time, really, really interesting, like time loop RPG.
Looks cool.
Like it does. Yeah. My favorite thing about the In Stars in Time trailer was the very beginning, where you examine this banana and you walk closer toward the banana, you fall, and it kills you, and that resets the time loop. I thought that was amazing. I thought that was
really
amazing.
Good. Like just a lot of personality, and I definitely am gonna keep my eye on that. We also had, same day, we had that Future Games show. There are a few things I wanted to flag from this. Just a couple of little highlights. We had Paleo Pines there, which got a demo coming to Steam Next Fest, which at this point starts in just a few days. I played it a little bit early. The shout outs to the publisher Modus Games for sending us along a code, and there's a video, like a 2-hour long video, up on the YouTube channel of me playing that. So yeah,
Seth's just lost track of time.
Yeah. So it was, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
It's adorable dinosaurs, Seth. I mean, none of them are named Trexie or Cook Pizza, but they're adorable dinosaurs.
I mean,
you can be forgiven.
Very cute. The game got a release date during this of September 26th, and again, you can check out that video on the channel. You can play the demo for yourself when Steam Next Fest happens. So really, really cool. You'll hear more thoughts on that on the main show tomorrow as well. High Water was here, which is the new
Demagogue Studios.
Yeah, the new
Demagogue same people game that do the Cub, Golf Club Wasteland. We featured Golf Club Wasteland in an indie showcase, and the Cub is another game from them that we're very much looking forward to. And this is also appearing to be set in that same kind of post-apocalyptic universe that they've already done a fantastic job of just building around all of these somehow completely different genred games.
Yeah, so that looks really cool. Again, no hard date, but coming sometime this summer, and I'm looking forward to like seeing more from that whole world. I wanted to flag this game. I discovered this game on Twitter, actually, and it was kind of cool to see it here. Ruffy and the Riverside.
Dude, it looks so good.
I love the art of it.
Yeah.
I love the sort of like gameplay. It's one of those, it kind of reminds me of what you're talking about with that Sticker Tale, where you see items in the world and you just sort of like rough them up and like remove them. And
Well,
cool.
The actual gimmick, the gameplay hook for Ruffy and the Riverside is you can apparently take something, unlike a little Sticker Tale, Ruffy and the Riverside is a 3D action adventure game, but you can look at something and I guess take the essence of that, but then apply that essence to, according to them, like virtually anything else in the environment. And a couple of the ways they showed that off, they showed him taking basically the essence of a bunch of vines and applying that to a waterfall to make the waterfall vines he could then climb up to the top of. So that's basically what we're going with. But I love like the visual dichotomy of this game, because the environments are all 3D models, but all the NPCs and a lot of the important items within the game are like these 2D, what look to be like almost 80s style cartoon animated characters. It looks absolutely rad. It really does. Like I said, I love the dichotomy. Just him running, just how animated the characters are looks great. Just have the way he looks when he runs around, just his run animation looks amazing. The way he interacts with a lot of things within the environment just looks super fun and satisfying. It looks like it's just a world that's just begging to be experimented with. That one absolutely got my attention when I saw the trailer for that.
Yeah, well, and like I said, I saw this on Twitter for the first time like a few months ago, and I thought it was like one of those games where, indie game Twitter, you'll sometimes just see a game that's like very early in development, somebody just kind of showing a proof of concept, and I thought that's what this was. No, apparently this is targeting a winter 2023 launch, so apparently it's further along than I thought. So
Specifically to the end of the trailer, they say it's like coming winter 2023. No, no, seriously. We think it's coming winter or whenever it's done, or whenever it's done.
Yeah.
The character actually they actually say that way in the trailer. It's very cute. But yes, Ruffy and the Riverside is yeah, that one's pretty far up my queue for most anticipated indie games coming this year. So very much excited for that one. But you and I really like unique experiences. Ruffy and the Riverside certainly looks like it's going to be a little bit of that. But I have to admit, Seth, I don't know that I've ever played like an RPG in the style of a Broadway musical before.
This one was, I specifically saved this for last because this was my, like, if I were to make a top 5 of like all of the games I saw just this week in general, Stray Gods, the role-playing musical, would be on there for me. It's coming August 3rd. It is coming to the Switch, and it looks amazing. It is, I mean, I love musicals anyway, but like it also just like the visual style, it's like if Hades were a musical, basically, what they're going with here. And like, yeah, it's like a musical RPG visual novel with a just incredible cast. The pedigree behind this game is top tier. Not only is the music being done by Austin Wintory, who is an acclaimed composer in his own right behind Journey, ever heard of it? But the actual voice cast and the people who are going to be not only voicing the characters but singing in this game include Laura Bailey, Troy Baker, Janina Gavankar, Carrie Payton, Felicia Day, Erika Ishii, Ashley Johnson. I mean, this is a stacked cast. I mean, like, it is crazy. And like this, I'd never heard of it before. And to see this, and like, not only is it coming to Switch, but it's coming like very soon. And the developers are talking like, yeah, our biggest inspiration was Once More with Feeling, my favorite Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode. And I'm like, oh my God.
That tracks. But the story is apparently about this young girl who is meeting the physical incarnations of a lot of like Greek gods, like Persephone and Apollo and other characters like that in more modern interpretations. And I don't know if it's for the purposes of, trying to date them or whatever.
Well, it's a murder mystery. She's been accused of murdering the last muse of the Greek gods. So she has to kind of like prove her innocence and clear her name, which is a really interesting hook. And yeah, man, I'm so, you have no idea how all over this game I am. This checks all of my boxes, dude.
I can see the hearts, like he's looking off screen right now toward it. I can see the hearts in his eyes right now. You can't hide it from me. Does the station know about this?
I mean, like, just like the entire, like, I mean, yeah, it's like a musical RPG. Cool, check, really cool. One of the lead writers of Dragon Age writing it. Cool, sounds good. Austin Wintory doing the music. Great. Stacked voice cast. All right, let's go. It is just... It's checking all my boxes. I'm very, very excited for this.
Well, I'm glad you're very excited for it. We'll definitely check it out when it comes to the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, I would imagine that, just based on early impressions, that it's hopefully going to be Indie Direct worthy. So we'll see when it comes out. But, even though we've done Wholesome Games Direct, Future of Play, Future Games, there's still more. There's still more. So hang with us just a little bit longer because we've got to go over the Ubisoft Forward, which is honestly a phrase that I didn't know if I was ever going to say on this show, because historically Ubisoft Forward has not been a platform for a lot of Nintendo Switch games, but there were a couple big things that got showed off here at this show, and paramount among those, I think as far as we're concerned at least, is the new Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. Mm-hmm. We saw it during the Summer Game Fest kickoff. It was actually the first trailer that we saw as part of the Summer Game Fest kickoff. Their first big surprise. And here we saw a little bit more of it at Ubisoft Forward, and it just continues to look amazing. AAA Metroidvanias are a lost art. It was wonderful to get Metroid Dread, and I cannot wait for this.
Yep. Yeah, it instantly became one of my most anticipated of next year. And I can't wait for it either. Cool to see, a good like chunk of gameplay. People who played it at the show did get to play the Switch version, and were able to confirm that the Switch version is immaculate and like runs at 60 frames and all the rest. So I can't wait for this, man. This is like a slam dunk for me. Can't wait for that. We didn't get like a ton of Nintendo news. We break in side quest this week on Patreon. We broke down all of this stuff, the non-Nintendo stuff. But we did also get a short teaser for the Rayman DLC for Mario Rabbids, which is still slated for later this year. No hard date, and in fact, not even a hard date for the DLC that's coming sooner.
Yeah,
which was weird. But
that is kind of weird. Admittedly, though, the little vignette they had for the Rayman DLC was absolutely hilarious. They showed Rabbid Peach and Rabbid Mario basically like reacting to Rayman's detachable limbs. And Rabbid Mario like grabs his detachable arm, realizes he's yanked it right off of Rayman's body, and he actually faints at the proposition. It was pretty funny. But yeah, weird that we didn't get a date for either of them, considering they're both slated to come later on this year still. So, I mean, the Rayman DLC is going to stink anyway.
I hope so. For that fantasy critic, man. We're counting on
at least. Yes. And I'm going to leave this up to you. Do we talk about the other thing?
Yeah, I mean, so Roller Champions is getting a Jet Set Radio event. Cool. Brawlhalla is getting a Halo event. Cool. I mean, that's pretty much the extent of either of those things for me.
Yeah.
So.
Still looking forward to Sega maybe one day remembering that it's okay for them to do stuff with Jet Set Radio other than just cross-promote it and stuff like this and Super Monkey Ball, but maybe they'll remember that they can actually make a game.
I mean, the fact that this is two things. The fact that they are doing so much promotion like this, plus the fact that like one of the games that was leaked alongside Jet Set Radio was officially announced at Xbox. It probably is real. That leaked Jet Set Radio thing is probably real. Who knows if that's going to be a good thing or not. Either way, there is a part of me, as much as this like doesn't look good at all. I really hate like the design of Beat and Gum in Roller Champions. They look terrible. Gum in particular, like it doesn't even look like the same character. But in any case, like just the fact that they're doing it at all, like the fact that there's at least a little bit of a bump on that line, on that heartbeat, is something at least. But yeah, no, I'm good. I'll pass on Roller Champions.
Fair enough. But, just having 3 Switch logos at Ubisoft Forward was frankly a massive step up for them, even if that's really all it was. But again, super looking forward to Prince of Persia and, looking forward to at least one of the DLC drops for Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Sparks of Hope right now, by the way, 50% off on the Nintendo Switch eShop. Nintendo hyped up this big, they actually even made a video for it, this big hyper summer sale. There's actually some pretty good discounts going on right now, but Sparks of Hope is actually 50% off.
It's a great game.
As of this recording, and you should definitely check it out. But we've got one last show, or actually 1.5 shows.
Yeah,
to touch on.
Basically one more show, let's be real. But yeah, we should talk quickly at least about the Capcom Showcase, which again had a lot of non-Nintendo stuff. Again, we break this down much more in side quests this week, but there are a couple of the Nintendo stuff that we got is really good, to be fair.
I know it made you very happy when I saw that Ace Attorney footage pop in. I knew it was going to make you happy. So we've been getting a lot of Phoenix Wright and Ace Attorney love on the Nintendo Switch. Of course, we got that trilogy collection last year, and here we are, Ace Attorney functionally 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah,
collected in a brand new collection coming very soon to the Nintendo Switch, and there was happiness in the Sturgill household.
Yeah, well, it's cool because yeah, we had the first trilogy, which is the first three mainline games. The
Yep.
Apollo Justice Ace Attorney trilogy collects the 4, 5, and 6, as you said. But for those who don't know, we've talked about this on the show in various forms. But Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice were 3DS entries that were digital only. So when the 3DS eShops closed back in late March, we lost both of those games and they were completely gone. And we kind of had a feeling that this is something they would be doing anyway, especially since last year they ported over the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles and localized it. There's been definitely some Ace Attorney love happening at Capcom. So I had a feeling this was coming. However, like, it's still great to have those games preserved and to have them on, readily available hardware. Makes me very happy. And yeah, it's coming early 2024 and I can't wait.
Yeah, the fact that Capcom seems so willing to start collecting a lot of their previously handheld-only titles, because we've gotten multiple Ace Attorney collections at this point. We've gotten multiple Mega Man collections from their handheld era at this point. So Capcom's willingness to do this and collect these and preserve a lot of their old handheld titles makes Eric very happy. There's a couple more I hope come in the near future. We'll see if they do. And you were saying, like, after this, we really only have like Miles Edgeworth and Phoenix Wright / Professor Layton. Yeah. We're going to have almost the entire Ace Attorney series on the Switch.
Functionally, yeah. I mean, that's the entire core mainline series will be on Switch after this releases. So, yeah, there's a couple like spin-off things that could still, it'd still be nice to come over, but like, yeah, the vast majority of them will be on Switch when this comes out. So,
yeah.
That's very, very cool, man. Again, even if like you don't care about the games, like for preservation alone, it's great to have these available. So
yeah.
So there's that.
DS games coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Japan's greatest grandpa, Shu Takumi, showed up in the show to shadow drop a demo for the forthcoming Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, which, by the way, if you guys forgot, is actually coming at the end of this month. We've only got a couple weeks left before Ghost Trick Phantom Detective comes out, and you all are going to buy it, right?
I hope so. It's only $30. And yeah, Shu Takumi came out as adorable as ever. Just, a national treasure, that's Shu Takumi. And he came out and he talked about, how important the game is to him and how happy he is that it's being re-released and everything. And yeah, Shadow dropped a demo that allows you to play through the first 2 chapters of the game, and you can carry your save data over into the full game, and you even unlock content in the full game for playing the demo. So like, they're really pushing Ghost Trick in a way that makes me very happy, because this is my favorite Nintendo DS game, one of my favorite games of all time. And, again, like, it's coming out in 2 weeks. It's just $30, and it's so worth it, man. And even like on the secondhand market to get the game on original hardware, it's like a $200 game now. So,
is it really?
I mean, just to have like an accessible, affordable version of one of my favorite games of all time, just try the demo. Like, if you're within earshot of my voice, just try it. Give it a shot. It's different, it's unique, but like, if you're into like puzzle games, if you're into a good like murder mystery, I think that there's enough in the demo to sort of get you on the hook for it. Yeah, I can't wait, man. Cannot wait.
Yeah. But again, that comes out in just a couple weeks, dropping at the end of June. And a couple seconds ago, we were talking about maybe or not we had 1.5 shows. The way we said it like that is there was technically another broadcast, technically another presentation this past week that we found out about at the Devolver Direct pre-show.
Yeah.
Actually.
This is a weird situation all around.
But it's Devolver, so that makes sense.
Yeah, well, Grasshopper Manufacture is celebrating their 25th anniversary this year, and so they wanted to throw on a direct. Big congrats to that studio, and they've over 25 years they've had a fascinating history, and they have ballooned up to a studio that had hundreds of employees to now, as of a couple years ago, they got purchased by NetEase and actually opted to completely restructure the studio to where now there's like 30 employees there. And they specifically wanted to keep the studio at a smaller, more intimate scale, and opened up a new studio called Ubikiri Studio in Japan, which is where this direct was filmed. And they're basically like the thing that I love about Grasshopper is they are essentially making games with a AAA, at least a semblance of a AAA budget and scale, but maintaining like weird, unique ideas that feel like an indie game. It's why I love No More Heroes so much. And so anyways, they have this 25th anniversary direct, and we knew going into it that Shadows of the Damned Remastered was going to be there. Now we did expect that there would be literally any news on it.
Something.
Yeah.
But not really. We know that a Shadows of the Damned remake is coming. We learned as much during the Devolver Direct pre-show, but we didn't really learn anything beyond that at this Grasshopper Direct. It's coming to consoles probably, maybe, at some point in the near future.
Yeah, the exact quote is, quote, "coming to all current platforms probably," end quote. So very cheeky, very Grasshopper. The entire presentation, like, it felt like something like a Devolver kind of adjacent thing, but it also too, this is like a very fan, kind of thing it was, and also very Japanese. A lot of the stuff was more relevant to Japanese audiences. They and also they're opening up like an official merch store. Grasshopper in the past has been like, yeah, we don't have a merch store, but you can like buy Grasshopper stuff off Redbubble. That's fine. Like, they're very like punk rock. They're very kind of aloof about that stuff. They don't really care. But they're opening an official merch store finally, which is cool. They also had some like official artwork, commissioned and stuff in celebration. So very cool. And then the showcase ended with a little word from Suda himself, and very cheeky, very much in the Suda style. He is just on a big screen TV, just playing their next game. He pauses it and stands up, and the screen's blurred behind him. And it's like very clearly just their next game on the TV behind him, but you don't really get to see too much of it. Now, I have pored over that footage with a fine-toothed comb. I'm actually working on an analysis video for the YouTube channel that I'm hoping to finish up this weekend, so you guys can look forward to that, where I get very in-depth, and I speculate and postulate some very crazy things. Little teaser for that video. I postulate at a certain point in that video that there is a possibility that this is an open world vampire survival game where you can be a vampire in a mech suit. And I say that with a completely straight face. So
that sounds like a Suda game.
Stay tuned for that video. I get way more in depth, and I just analyze every frame of that footage, like a crazy person. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, that's the thing, man, is like, this is a small team. This is, again, like less than 30 people currently at Grasshopper. They are not at the scale of a Devolver. They're not at the scale of a Capcom. So this was just kind of like a home video kind of vibe for the Grasshopper Direct. So I'm not mad at it, despite the fact that it went up an hour late. It's fine.
Yeah, I forgot. Because it, emanated from Japan, it came out. It was supposed to come out midnight Eastern time, but apparently it was a good 75 minutes late.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and they apparently had to edit something in there, and they wound up they wound up re-uploading the whole thing just as a video and just dropping it versus making it a live premiere. So, but it was cool. Like, it was just nice. You had like James was there, Maddie was there, and Maddie is somebody who's never really been like front facing and on the camera. And so not only was this kind of her big like debut, but she was in full Bad Girl cosplay, which was great. Very cool, man. It was nice. Yeah. Like for Grasshopper fans, it was nice. Again, not a lot of like news out of it, but it was a cute, fun little home video style showcase.
Yeah, and congrats on 25 years, Grasshopper. We look forward to 25 more years of your weirdness.
Yeah, Suda says 75. He's like, we're only 75 away now from 100. So,
I mean, he's not technically wrong about that.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong about that. But just a last little piece of information coming out of the Xbox Direct, as was heavily leaked beforehand. We now know about Persona 3 Reload, and we know it is coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Not currently
Atlas,
confirmed for Switch. Not
currently
confirmed.
confirmed. But I mean, yeah. But it's... I mean, we've seen the box art, but yeah, but we did get official confirmation, at least, of Persona 5 Tactica, which is the really interesting, like chibi almost. Again, I likened it to like Mario plus Rabbids in terms of its look and in terms of its gameplay. That also coming from Atlas, that has been officially confirmed since the Xbox presentation. We're just waiting on Atlas to finally just say, yeah, Persona 3 Reload's coming to the Switch as well.
Yeah, if it is, so Tactica is coming November 17th, Persona 3 Reload is coming early next year, and if it is coming to Switch, and you know, we saw, like, there was a retailer that listed a Switch version, you know, it's possible. I don't think there's any reason it couldn't. And I wouldn't be surprised if it did. But if anything, maybe they're waiting on if and when Nintendo does a partner showcase this month, that might be what they're saving it for. That might be where it gets announced for Switch. So we'll see. We'll see.
I'd like to see that other game, Metaphor, come, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No way.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, well. But, I mean, we've certainly got enough to hold us over. Especially when McDonald's is doing weird stuff like this. So this past, I mean, we've just got to hit on this really quickly, folks.
Yeah.
If you didn't see, this past week for Grimace's birthday, something I never would have known about had McDonald's not done one of the most bizarre marketing stunts of 2023. But sure enough, this past week, in celebration of the big purple guy's birthday, they released a straight up Game Boy Color style game available to play for free in its entirety at, what was it, grimacesbirthday.com.
Yeah.
They posted a link, and sure enough, you know, you boot it up. I booted it up on my phone, and it turns your phone. It actually makes your phone a proxy Game Boy Color, and you can play Grimace's Birthday Adventure. And it was actually a pretty good game as far as Game Boy Color standards are concerned. It was a nice, fun little, at least the first few stages that I got to play were skateboard-based platformers where you had to collect milkshakes in order to get a good score. But apparently it actually changes up the gameplay the further you get into the game.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting, I'm actually going to reach out to the developers of this, because this was like 3 or 4 developers in the like Game Boy fan community that McDonald's actually reached out to and commissioned to them. They had, I think, 9 weeks to put this together, and really impressive. Like, all things considered, the pixel art is actually really good. The music is good, and not only is it like a browser-based thing that you can play on your phone or on your web browser, but it's actually a functional working Game Boy ROM that you can download, and you can actually just flash it to a Game Boy Color cartridge and play it on original hardware, like, which is wild. So yeah.
So what do you think's weirder? Do you think this is weirder, or you think the McNugget that you can play Tetris on from China? Do you think that's weirder?
They're both pretty weird, but
They're both pretty weird. Yeah.
I'm happy that both of them exist, though. And
I am too. I kind of want to get the Tetris McNugget, but I'm kind of glad this exists. And I hate to say this, I really do, but I'd be more interested than I'm willing to admit if somebody announced a physical version for Grimace's birthday.
Yeah, for sure.
But it does look kind of cool, and again, impressive for a little Game Boy Color game. I don't know what possessed McDonald's to do something like this, but I'm glad they did. Frankly,
I don't know either. There's also like a Grimace's birthday like promotion at McDonald's, where you can get like those purple milkshakes. You can get one at McDonald's. Yeah. And like get like a Grimace meal or something. And it's so weird. But like, frankly, like, there is a part of me though that is just kind of happy that like McDonald's is acknowledging their older characters like this. You know, like, I'm a total sucker for that whole McDonald land, you know, 80s, 90s
It doesn't
vibe.
even really exist anymore. I feel like I never see the Hamburglar or, you know, the McNugget buddies or Grimace or any of those characters anymore. I feel like they've just been forgotten about, and then all of a sudden,
No longer.
something like this happens.
No longer, man. So yeah, that was such a weird story, such a fun story. I want to reach out to those devs and have them on the show because I think that'd be a fun interview.
Oh,
But
that'd be a ton of fun.
yeah, we had that happen. There was also this rampant online rumor about an upcoming Legend of Zelda movie from Illumination being greenlit, and there was an interview with the Wrap that that the founder and CEO of Illumination, Chris Meledandri, gave, where he said, "quote I don't know where that came from. I mean, I can understand how people would surmise all sorts of things because obviously we've had a great experience working together. My relationship with Nintendo now includes being on their board of directors, so I understand how people can surmise these things. But in terms of the specifics, that was just something that I've been hearing lots of rumors. This is just about what's next between Nintendo and Illumination," end quote. So he's basically coming out like openly denying the rumors that have been floating around about an Illumination Zelda movie. And what was interesting to me about this is like it's the classic like CEO speak in one hand of like, what's he gonna say? Oh yeah, that's totally true. You know.
Well, see, that's the thing, is like, you're darned if you do, darned if you don't, because of course, if it's true, yeah, I mean, we all know, we've talked on this show ad nauseum about how protected Nintendo is of their IP and their ability to control the information flow behind, especially their highest, priority projects, of which they certainly consider the Super Mario Brothers movie chief among them during the time. So if they are indeed working on a Legend of Zelda movie with whoever, of course there's going to be a billion NDAs involved. Of course they're going to be legally incapable of confirming anything in the interviews. But at the same time, like, Zelda movie rumors are not new, people. We've been dealing with Zelda movie rumors for like the better part of 2 decades at this point. So it doesn't surprise me at all that he came out and completely squashed them. Frankly, I'm inclined to believe him. But again, on the same token, even if they're true, he would still say the exact same thing.
Yep. And the thing about it is too is like, the Super Mario Brothers movie is now like the 3rd highest grossing animated film of all time, I think. It was extraordinarily successful. I'm sure that they are currently talking about everything under the sun. Like,
I'm sure.
Like, yeah, give me the Donkey Kong movie, give me the Luigi's Mansion movie, give me the Zelda. They're probably talking about all of this stuff. And they're not, the way the movie industry works is like,
they probably have phase 1 completely planned out.
I'm sure they do. Yeah, 1,000%. And like the thing about it is like, they have to go through all of these contracts. They have to get people signed on. They have to do all of that before they can publicly talk about anything. So I'm sure that all of this stuff, including Zelda, is being talked about, but it's not going to be until something has been scripted, something has been actually greenlit, something has been casted. We're not going to hear about that until they're ready to issue a press release, and they're not going to publicly confirm it until we have that either. So, and in terms of like, I've seen a lot of commentary of like, oh, like, I don't want, Illumination to make a Zelda movie. And like, my comment on that is, that was what I felt before the Mario movie came out too. And I liked it quite a lot, So I'm kind of at the point where like, yeah, I do think that a Zelda movie needs to have more characterization than we got in the Mario movie. But with that being said, like, I really enjoyed the Mario movie. So I'm kind of good. If Illumination's doing the Zelda movie, okay, I'm going to watch it,
Yeah.
So,
I mean, people bemoan the casting of Michael Keaton as Batman. People bemoan the casting of Heath Ledger as the Joker. People bemoan the Illumination getting a hold of the Super Mario Brothers line. People have been angry about all kinds of stuff. And a lot of it, admittedly, has turned out bad, but a lot of it has also turned out good. And Illumination, at this point, if they are indeed working on a Zelda movie, at least has a little bit of confidence from me, and I think should have a little bit of confidence from a lot of the people who went to actually go see the movie. I think about a lot of the fans who actually went to go see the movie, the critics notwithstanding. But if they are the ones working on it, I'd be at least willing to see what they have to offer if and when they are finally willing to show it off. But guys, the Super Mario Brothers movie just hit homes. It just hit streaming and digital. Movies are not a 3-week turnaround. If they were, like, I'm sure a lot of plans were tentative around the success of the Super Mario Brothers movie.
For sure.
I'm sure a lot of talks had been had, and I'm sure a lot of tentative plans had been put in place. But Nintendo, especially given their first foray into motion pictures, I guarantee you they weren't all in before the first movie even came out. I'm sure that a lot of that is probably being fast-tracked right now, but we don't even know what it is. So, to talk about these Legend of Zelda rumors, even if they're true, we're probably still in the we need to find a script writer phase.
Yeah, I think we'll hear about this stuff in due time, know, and I'm in no rush. Like you said, the Mario movie's still in theaters in some places. Like the movie came out like what 2 months ago. Like it came out in April. We're in June. People are just they're so like hungry for the next bit of news. They're so hungry for the next thing. So. But we'll see, man. Okay, well this next thing I wanted to hit is particularly interesting because Nintendo is doing a lot of live events this year, which is a little uncharacteristic. They've kind of come back in this post-COVID world into a sort of more like live event space. They've got Nintendo Live, of course, happening in Seattle, and they also just announced this Summer of Play event, which is happening it's already started from June 15th to August 28th, where they're going to be stopping at malls all around the United States.
It's basically a cross-country tour leading up to Nintendo Live.
Basically,
in September in Seattle. And I do know one of the stops. It's going to be coming to Orlando July 20th through the 23rd, because your boy's going to be out there. I cannot wait to see what this... I mean, they've already talked about the fact that you'll be able to play a lot of Nintendo games out there. Specifically, they put, Splatoon and Animal Crossing New Horizons out on the CV. But, it's just going to be a Nintendo cross-country tour. I think it's mostly just to kind of hype up Nintendo Live because, again, the tour ends basically right before Nintendo Live happens. So, I mean, I know this is a deep cut for people, but honestly, it reminds me of the Lex Express from WWE back in the 90s.
Wow.
Where Lex Luger did a cross-country tour leading up to SummerSlam, and it was actually real. It was bizarre, but only I would compare it to that. But it looks like it's going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be a lot of Instagram posts at the very least, a lot of Twitter photos.
Oh, you better take pictures and videos. Oh yeah. When you go.
Well, I was talking about on behalf of Nintendo anyway, but I'm definitely going to be taking some when I go. But yes, it's coming to Orlando July 20th through the 23rd, but they are making some pretty major stops, so make sure to go. We're not going to detail all of them right here, but make sure to go onto the website and check, because if you live near a pretty major market, there's a halfway decent chance that you may be within driving distance of this Nintendo cross-country tour going across America this summer.
Yeah, they're going to Minneapolis, Detroit, New York, Knoxville, Orlando, Austin, Denver, and LA. And they are adding an additional city soon to the Summer of Play tour. We don't know what that is yet. There's a part of me that I'm like, God, I hope it's like not Austin, Houston. So that's a little bit closer to me. I would love to go to this. But they did also detail kind of like, it's going to be like a hub where you can play the games and stuff. But there's also a little blurb here, which is kind of interesting. While visiting the Nintendo Summer of Play tour, guests will receive a free Nintendo Summer of Play passport, which can be stamped after participating in various activities at the event. Once completed, they'll have an opportunity to receive free Nintendo goodies, While supplies last, attendees can also commemorate their Nintendo Summer experience by stopping by the Play Nintendo Mushroom Kingdom Yourself photo booth for a digital keepsake. For checking in My Nintendo at the event, Nintendo account holders will also receive a free gift while supplies last, and 100 My Nintendo Platinum points to redeem for fun rewards on mynintendo.com. Plus, those looking to bring the fun of the Nintendo Summer of Play tour home will receive a special GameStop coupon, which gives them $10 off a purchase of $75 or more on select Nintendo games and accessories. So you're going to be able to get some free swag, it sounds like, going to this thing. And it sounds like it's going to be more...
Excellent.
Yeah, more like interactive than just going and just, playing a
Yeah.
bunch of games or whatever. It sounds like it's going to have a little bit more to do there. And in addition to getting all the cool pictures and stuff. So very, very
Well, I mean,
cool,
I figured if a company like Nintendo's going to do this, they're not just going to show up with a tour bus, set up a table with a couple of Switches and call it
Yeah.
a day. Like they're going to have stuff out there to do. They're going to make it a bit like the entire point of this thing is is for PR anyway.
Yeah.
So they're going to make it as bombastic, and they're going to make the most of this opportunity as they possibly can. And I will be there to make sure that that they are making the most of the opportunity. I'm going to be there to judge them on how much awesome stuff there is to do, because I'm going to experience as much of it as possible.
Yeah. Well, what's really funny too is there's, like you said, they're stopping at Orlando, which is in your neck of the woods, July 20th through 23rd. I'm really curious if they're going to update the per view of this thing based on the timing, because at that point Pikmin 4 will be out. So I'm curious, if they're gonna have Pikmin 4 at this thing. They've got a Pikmin 4 photo op thing set up, but I'm curious if they're gonna have it playable when the game comes out at those locations. So that'd be interesting to see. I don't know.
Comes out the 21st, right?
Yeah, July 21st. So
yeah, it'd be cool if they have it playable on the 20th there, the first day.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to be curious to see what they do there. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say about it when you go. I'm looking forward to seeing the pictures. That'll be really cool, man. So if you're in any of those places, definitely swing by. And by the way, you might want to get there early, because Nintendo fans are rabid, and they will for sure be there early and getting all that free swag.
Yeah, there's probably going to be a lot of old men there harassing the employees to try to get a bunch of stuff that they can resell on eBay. And
Yep. So you might
Yep.
want to get to those malls, bright and early, and make sure you get something.
Yep.
So,
and specifically, if you're also in the it's the Mall of Florida, the Florida Mall.
Yeah.
Specifically in Orlando, that they're going to be at on the 20th through the 23rd of July. So I will see some of you there.
That'd be cool.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe
you see me out there. Let's get a picture.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. Cool. Well, last thing we want to hit here is a new update to the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack coming next week on the 23rd.
Yes.
We're getting Fire Emblem for the Game Boy Advance.
The original Western release of Fire Emblem, finally getting that to the Game Boy Advance. The Japanese market is getting Fire Emblem and Fire Emblem the Binding Blade, or the Blazing Blade and the Binding Blade, the two Game Boy Advance.
Isn't it? It's weird. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I think that the Blazing Blade is the one that we're getting to.
The one that we got, yes.
Yeah, but it's localized here just as Fire Emblem.
As Fire Emblem, yes.
And then the Binding Blade is the next one, and Japan is getting that on the same day. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, for those Westerners who jumped into Fire Emblem on the ground floor, as far as we're concerned, that original GBA game is coming to Nintendo Switch next week. Specifically, Nintendo of America has it listed as the 23rd. However, we all know what happens with NSO. It's always 9 p.m. Eastern the night before. But really excited to have that one. I'm actually that of all the NSO games that come out, that one is one I absolutely want to put aside time to play. I finally was able to properly get into the Fire Emblem franchise this year with Engage, and I have made it kind of a personal mission to go back and play some of those older Fire Emblem games, and I'm really excited for this one to come to Nintendo Switch. And again, if you want to create a Japanese account and you know how to speak Japanese, both of them are coming to the Japanese NSO next week, so check that out.
Yeah, man. But that's next week. Let's talk this week and hit some of these
Yes.
notable releases before we call it a night here on YouTube.
Sounds good. Not too many. Mostly just kind of the shadow drops from this week. We got Smushy Come Home that we've already spoken about from the Wholesome Games Direct. So go ahead and check that out if you're able to. In addition to that, Fall of Porcupine came out, which was also was it Wholesome?
I think they might have had a trailer for it at Wholesome for Fall of Porcupine.
I think it was at Wholesome, but regardless, Fall of Porcupine also came out. It's a game where you play as a pigeon doctor. Again, I know an overused caricature in Nintendo games. Pigeon doctors are all the rage there for a while.
Dime a dozen.
Yeah, dime a dozen. But this one seems like it's a unique take on the trope. So it seems pretty interesting. And another video that Seth has put up on our YouTube channel, isn't that right?
Yep. There's about an hour and change long video on Fall of Porcupine, and big thanks to the publisher who gave us access to that as well and passed along a code for that. You're gonna hear much more about that on the main show tomorrow, as well as Dordogne, which also came out this week, and we also were very fortunate and very honored to get a code for that too. Well in advance of the game's release, Eric and I have both played. It's actually going to be our indie showcase on the main show this week, so we're going to have a nice long conversation telling you all about why Dordogne is frankly one of the most special games of 2023, and you should not sleep on it. I feel like people are sleeping on it. I feel like I'm not seeing a lot of chatter about the game, despite the fact that it's on Game Pass as well. Folks, Dordogne is a special game, and it should be on your radar.
Yeah, definitely check out the main show tomorrow to hear all of our thoughts on this special indie game. It's definitely going to be a game that we bring up a couple times come Golden Aces season.
Oh, yeah.
And this last one, what's with this Alchemic Cube game, Seth?
Alchemic Cutie is a...
Cutie, I'm sorry.
It's almost like a 2D, like Stardew Valley meets Slime Rancher sort of thing, where you've got little slimes, and stuff, and... Looks really cute. Again, I guess one final shout out to Locklith. She got a code for that, and she put up a Let's Play on her channel of Alchemic Cutie. It just came out today.
So check that out.
So definitely check it out if you're curious about the game. Looks cool. I watched her video on it, and it looks interesting. So there was a line that I really liked in the video where it has like kind of a Gremlins thing where you have to make sure your slimes have like they're happy. You have to maintain happiness with them, or at midnight they'll just disappear in an event called the Poofaning.
Just a sec. I'm sorry. The what?
The Poofaning will happen if you don't maintain.
That's the greatest word I've ever heard.
So yeah, kind of funny. Yeah, it reminded me of Gremlins, like don't get them wet after midnight or whatever.
The Poofaning. Yeah,
don't make your little cute slimes upset, or after midnight they'll poof. The Poofaning. So yeah, check out Locklith's video on Alchemic Cutie. That just came out this week too.
Nice. But those have been notable releases, folks. What are you poofing this weekend? Playing? I'm sorry. What are you playing this weekend? Are you still knee deep in Tears of the Kingdom? Are you playing one of the games that just got shadow dropped? Are you playing Dordogne? Are you playing Dokapon Kingdom this weekend like we are?
Yeah.
Let us know. Reach out to us on Facebook and Twitter at All In Podcast. Make sure to like and follow and subscribe to youtube.com/allinpodcast right here. Thank you once again to everybody who came out and hung out with us tonight as we broke down the week in Nintendo news. Make sure to check out all the videos that we have here on the YouTube channel as well. We're going to make another one tomorrow night. So make sure to tune in to this channel tomorrow night for our playthrough, for our time with Sam and John with Dokapon Kingdom. In addition to that, make sure to check out our amazing Discord community. We've got such a special Discord community. We'd love for you to be a part of it. But, all content all the time over here at All In. We are constantly doing stuff. And somehow, Seth, I don't know how we do it, but somehow we are able to find time to make exclusive content even for our patrons.
even and especially for our patrons at patreon.com/allinpodcast. Bunch of friends and supporters throwing a few bones our way over there. We really appreciate it. And you get exclusive content. Again, 7-day free trial for the Gold Banana tier over there that gets you access to All In Side Quest and the $2 Hero Cast, which are our two weekly Patreon exclusive podcasts that we do. You also at the Triforce tier get discounts on our merch at bit.ly/allinmerch. So that's really cool. You can get a shirt, get a mug, get a sticker over there. But if you don't have any bones to throw away, that's okay too. We do understand. You can drop some words entirely for free on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, and Audible, which you're probably listening to this on. If you're not watching the VOD on YouTube, and Spotify, you can leave us 5-star ratings. We appreciate that too. And that's a really free way to support. If you're watching on YouTube, leaving comments, likes, that really helps us out as well. So we appreciate your support. And again, it's free. It's free.
It is free. It is free. But anyway, you guys have chosen to support us over these past nearly 3 years. We just want to send a special thank you out to all of you, to our amazing patrons, to everybody who has dropped words, again, on whatever podcast service you happen to be following us on, or to anybody who's just shared our content in any way, some way, shape, or form across this internet. Guys, namaste.
Namaste, everybody. Have a great weekend. Shout outs to Bowser here. Bowser says, have a great weekend, everybody. You have a great weekend, Bowser.
No,
shout outs
you.
to Locklith was here. Keegan DeWitt was here. Thanks, y'all, for coming out. We appreciate you. The main show drops tomorrow. If you're watching us live right now, or if you're watching the VOD or listening later, you can find links to that in the video description / the show notes to the main show. That's coming tomorrow. We're going to do, because it is Father's Day weekend after all, Eric, we have to close the loop.
We do.
We did the top 5 mothers you're glad you don't have for Mother's Day. So now we're doing the fathers you're glad you don't have for Father's Day. That's a fun top 5. Doing an indie showcase again on Dordogne, which is very cool. Very honored and happy to tell you all more about that game. And then we're doing a big blowout.
We're doing a huge 20th anniversary all-in retrospective on Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. We're so incredibly stoked for Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. Turns out this is the 20th anniversary of Sands of Time. It just kind of fell that way. And honestly, it's been way too long since people talked about that game. Anyway, we are remedying that tomorrow.
Yeah, great episode queued up for y'all tomorrow. So definitely tune into that on your podcast services around the globe. We appreciate y'all and love you very much. Have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day weekend, all the dads out there. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Great weekend. Love you.